Can one man be both a savior and a monster to humanity? This is the question that surrounds the life of Fritz Haber, a German chemist who lived from 1868 to 1934. His story is one of stark contrasts, a narrative punctuated by both triumph and tragedy. Haber, a man of extraordinary intellect, used his knowledge to transform the world in ways both beneficial and destructive. On one hand, he revolutionized agriculture, creating a method to synthetically produce ammonia, an essential ingredient in fertilizers. This breakthrough is credited with saving millions from starvation, earning him the title of savior. But the same mind that fed the world also conceived a weapon of mass destruction. Haber was instrumental in the development of chemical warfare, a grim legacy that led to the death of millions during the First World War. Join us as we delve into the life of Fritz Haber, a man of contradictions. Fritz Haber, born on December 9, 1868, in Breslau, Germany, was destined for greatness, but at what cost? Born into a well-off Jewish family, young Fritz was instilled with a thirst for knowledge from an early age. His parents encouraged his scholarly pursuits, shaping his future as one of the world's most influential chemists. Haber's early life was marked by a deep interest in science, particularly chemistry, which he pursued with fervor. His studies took him to renowned institutions in Berlin and Heidelberg, where his passion for chemistry blossomed under the tutelage of some of the brightest minds of the time. In the midst of his scientific endeavors, Haber underwent a major personal transformation. He converted to Christianity, a decision that would later cast a shadow over his achievements. Yet this change of faith did not deter his dedication to his work. With a solid foundation, Haber was ready to make his mark in the world of chemistry. In the early 20th century, the world faced an impending food crisis, but Haber, with his brilliance, stepped in. At a time when the world was grappling with the specter of famine, Fritz Haber emerged as an unlikely savior. A German chemist with a mind as fertile as the soil he sought to enrich, Haber was about to make a groundbreaking contribution to humanity. His answer to the pressing food crisis was a revolutionary process that would change the face of agriculture forever. Haber, in collaboration with Carl Bosch, developed the Haber-Bosch process, a method that allowed for the mass production of ammonia. Now you might be wondering, what does ammonia have to do with agriculture? Well, ammonia is a key ingredient in fertilizers and vital to plant growth. Prior to the Haber-Bosch process, ammonia could only be produced in small quantities, limiting the extent of its use in agriculture. But Haber and Bosch's invention changed all that. It made it possible to produce ammonia on an industrial scale, opening up new horizons for farming and food production. With the mass production of ammonia, fertilizers became more widely available, and farmers could now enrich their fields, boosting crop yields like never before. This increase in food production was a game changer. It meant that the world could now sustain a rapidly growing population, addressing the looming food crisis. The impact of Haber's invention cannot be overstated. It was a catalyst for the Green Revolution of the mid-20th century, a period of immense agricultural growth and innovation. Thanks to the Haber-Bosch process, food scarcity became less of a threat, and the specter of global famine was held at bay. Haber's invention would go on to feed millions, earning him the moniker, the father of chemical fertilizer. This title, though perhaps not as glamorous as some, is a testament to the profound impact of Haber's work. His invention was a lifeline for a world on the brink of a food crisis, a beacon of hope in a time of dire need. However, Haber's genius did not stop at fertilizers. His next invention would cast a dark shadow over his legacy. In the midst of World War I, Fritz Haber was called upon to employ his genius in a far more sinister manner. The German military, desperate for an edge in the brutal conflict, sought his expertise. What they received was a solution that would forever change the face of warfare, a development that would shroud Haber's legacy in controversy. Haber was instrumental in the development of chemical weapons, specifically chlorine gas. This deadly substance, when released on the battlefield, would react with water in the lungs of soldiers, creating a corrosive acid that would cause a slow and agonizing death. Haber did not merely develop this weapon, he supervised its first successful use in warfare. At the Second Battle of Ypres in April of 1915, the German army released over 168 tons of chlorine gas over the trenches of the Allied forces. The result was devastating, causing over 6,000 casualties. While some lauded Haber's contribution as a significant advantage in a war that was already claiming countless lives, many were appalled. This was a new kind of warfare, one that violated previously held ethics and norms. The use of chemical weapons was seen as a breach of the Hague Conventions, which prohibited the use of weapons that caused unnecessary suffering. Haber's involvement in this development led to a great deal of controversy. Many questioned the ethics of a man who could devise a means to feed the world and then turn around and create a method of mass destruction. It was a paradox that would forever stain his reputation. Haber's work is a stark reminder of the dual nature of science and technology. The same innovation that can enhance life can also be used to end it. It raises questions about the responsibility of scientists and the ethical implications of their work. Haber's inventions, once a beacon of hope, had now become harbingers of death. Fritz Haber's life is a tale of dualities, of life and death, of good and evil. This encapsulates the legacy of a man who straddled the line between savior and destroyer. Haber, a German chemist, was a man of many contradictions. His work in the early 20th century led to the synthesis of ammonia, a breakthrough that revolutionized agriculture and earned him the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1918. His discovery was a beacon of hope, promising to feed the world and eradicate hunger. However, the same genius that brought life also dealt in death. Haber's work was instrumental in developing deadly chemical weapons during the First World War. Ironically, the man who once saved humanity was also responsible for the devastation of millions. His later years were marked by personal tragedy as his Jewish roots forced him into exile, leading to his death in 1934. Fritz Haber, a man who both saved and destroyed lives, serves as a stark reminder of the dual-edged sword that is scientific progress.